Silently the housekeeper led Finn through the maze of dim rooms where the furniture was shrouded in dusty covers and curtains muffled the windows. Then, at last, she threw open a door, revealing a long, narrow space filled with light. It was the glass-roof room that Finn had so often seen flashing on the cliff top. His grandmother had been wrong when she said it was a conservatory. There were no plants in it, and the only furniture was a single chair at the far end. Through the salt-spattered roof and the end wall, Finn could see the sky. Beyond the windows to his right were the rocks and stunted trees of the cliff top. But to his left, where he would have expected a view of the sea, the wall was solid. It was made up of panels painted with scenes that made Finn catch his breath. Scenes of dragons, a mighty castle, monsters, a beautiful palace. The paintings were so vivid and so real that they made the world outside the glass seem lifeless. "Look more closely," said the housekeeper. Finn did not need to be told. He was already moving to the wall. He could not have stopped himself if he had tried. In the first picture, dragons soared over a calm sea, and a castle rose on a distant shore. Finn stared at it in wonder. The painting was not signed, but there was a title below it. "Behold the Glimme where dragons fly, and see a wondrous tale unfold." Swallowing the lump that had risen in his throat, Finn moved on to the second painting. It showed a magnificent hall where people and weird creatures of fantasy were feasting. Again, a title was written at its base. "The splendours of the castle nigh, where magic reigns in halls of gold." When Finn came to the next panel, he looked at the title first. "The path through valleys rich and strange," he read, "beneath the eye of Orin's Tor." The picture was of a market in a village, a strange village indeed. The villagers had the heads of lions, and their hands were huge and clawed. The market stalls were great slabs of stone, heaped with raw meat that dripped blood onto the cobbles. From a distance, the scene had made Finn feel queasy, yet now that he looked at it more closely, he was filled with a sense of peace and safety. The villagers were going calmly about their business despite their fearsome looks. Bright, cheerful colours were everywhere. In the distance, dragons circled a mountain with fire at its peak. Orin's Tor, no doubt. 5 hideous giants loomed in the next painting, warlike and menacing. Finn found himself shuddering as he read the words at the panel's base. "The Isle of Hind, where monsters range, and giants wait upon the shore." "Who painted these?" he asked, finding his voice at last. "The master," said the housekeeper. "Do you like them?" Finn did not know how to answer. Like was not the word for what he felt. He felt awe. He felt a kind of thrilling joy, and at the same time he felt, to his shame, a burning stab of envy for a skill that was so far beyond his own. He made himself nod and moved on to the 5th painting. In a sea churning with serpents, 3 tall columns supporting an arch of rock guarded the entrance to a calm bay. "Like fangs of stone rise sisters 3, the title read, "to cheat the stranger's view." Through the gaps between the columns of rock, Finn could see that there was something shining in the middle of the bay. He could see turrets and spires. Could they be... Quickly he moved to the next picture in line, and sure enough, as he had glimpsed from the doorway, there were the towers of a beautiful palace that seemed to be floating on water. He glanced at the title. "The palace blooms upon the sea, a flower in a field of blue." So the 5th and 6th paintings made a pair, one showing the entrance to the bay, and the next showing the dreamlike palace floating inside it. "It grows late." The housekeeper's harsh voice was a shock. Finn spun round. He saw that the light outside the glass walls had dimmed. The housekeeper was a tall shadow by the door. Mumbling apologies, he took a step towards her. "No, the housekeeper snapped. "Look at the last." So Finn turned and moved quickly to the 7th painting. It showed part of a shadowy room. There was a patterned carpet on the floor, but the focus of the picture was a high wall covered with painted fantasy scenes. Finn looked down at the title, squinting a little to see in the dimming light. It was different from the other titles. It was more personal, and it rhymed. "The artist's secret is the key to doors no eyes but mine can see." Feeling the housekeeper's eyes burning on the back of his neck, he turned again to face her. "You will eat and sleep now," she said. "Tomorrow you can begin." "Begin what, housekeeper?" Finn stammered. She stared at him coldly. "You are to study these paintings till you know them by heart, and you are to copy the first exactly." So that's how Finn begins his adventure and eventually finds his way into the world of the Glimme.